that people always say that the best way to learn a language is flashcards, taking notes, and testing yourself. But personally, I feel like there are more effective ways of doing that. Hi, if you're new here, welcome to my channel, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 7 most effective studying methods to learn a language in my personal opinion. So let's get into it. So the first way is to talk to a camera. Film like a daily video of you talking to a camera, because not only are you, talking to someone, but no one else is going to see it. So you're not going to have the embarrassment of like talking in front of a class, doing all of that stuff. So I think it would just be 10 times easier if you talk to a camera every single day, do like a daily diary. So this way you can track your progress, and as well you're practicing and listening to it, because it's one thing to write things down and learn it from there, but you will learn so much more if you were to speak and talk about it. And who better to talk about than yourself and a camera? And again, as I said, it's one of the best ways to like track where you're going in your like language learning skills. I personally am using Spanish as my example. So like you could write something out and explain what you wrote. Do whatever. I mean, it's your like daily vlog of what you would be talking about. So, just do what works for you. Also, comment down below if you want me to do like a whole video on how I learned Spanish, even though my first language was Spanish, but I just take Spanish classes in high school, and college. So let me know what you want to see. But first tip, just go with the flow, talk to a camera every day. I think it will help you continuing those practicing skills, because when you're going to if you end up talking to someone in that language, at least you'll understand what they're saying, because understanding is like the first step to learning the language. Okay, so the second way is to watch TV shows and watch movies in that language. So, as I was saying earlier, listening to someone else say things, you'll be able to understand what they're saying. I also think if you like pause it like every other sentence and try to like repeat words that you remember, then it'll be 10 times easier for you to actually talk to someone in the language that you are trying to pick up. And it'll help with your pronunciation whenever you end up trying to do like daily vlogs of yourself or things like that. I think overall, watching TV shows helps you put these words into context, and it will help you end up learning how to, again, pronunciate, use them in context, but also be able to talk to someone if you were to go to another country and that was the language that you were learning. And it helps you pick up the language 10 times quicker. So my third tip is going to be to get a designated journal just for this language. This way, instead of having just notes everywhere, you can look through your journal, and let's say if you're doing like testing yourself or something like that, then you can look through your notes. If it was an open note test, or if you're just learning it on your free time, you can use your notes, and at least you have one specific place that you have all of your notes in, as well as you can basically make it as creative or as minimalist as you want it to be. Like you can add drawings to help you with contexting the context of the word, things like that. I also think if you were to put like English words that kind of sound similar, it would also help you. So if you have it all together, you don't have it like 10 different papers, it will help you, look through your journal and learn it 10 times quicker than if you were to just have like 10 separate sheets of paper and then lose them all and never know what you did. So I personally I only just took notes on like a notebook, and then I would rip them out and put it in a binder. But I feel like now I probably will put them in a actual notebook. So here's me taking my own tips. Funny. So yes, get your own notebook. Figure out how you want to style it. You want to be minimal. You want to have a whole like bullet journal type setup, and go from there. I think it will really help you figure out what you need to improve in that language and what you still need to learn, and keep adding into that notebook. So the fourth tip is to read books in that language. It doesn't have to be whole chapter books like I'm reading here, even though this is in English, but you get the point. Reading, like, let's say, again, you're learning like Spanish, it's a pretty common language. You get a children's book in Spanish and you learn from there. I think that would be a good way to start. So then you're building your vocabulary. So if you start with like a preschool book with just like the alphabet and then grow from there, you will also help see the improvement from a kid's book to a chapter book, but also you will be able to actually, if like you're reading it out loud, you'll be able to say it to yourself and then say it to other people and use it in a sentence. So then, you know, you're not having to guess about the context or guess about what you're supposed to be doing, but all of it will be just right in front of you, and you'll be able to know what that word is used for and how to correctly use it. So try reading books like kindergarten books and then go from there in that language. But you know, if you get a picture book, then you can use the pictures to figure out what you are actually reading. So overall, reading is just a good way to start building that context and vocabulary and pronunciation. Okay, so this way is probably one of the most effective ones. Follow people on social media. So this could be on Instagram, this could be YouTubers that are in your designated, like, I don't know, language is what I'm trying to say. So in Instagram, they literally have Translate It, and you can just go back and forth and figure out what they're trying to say. YouTube, you can put subtitles, so then you're listening to what they're saying, but you actually understand what they're saying based off of what they're doing in your video. But I think it would just be the most beneficial if you follow people, because you're putting everything that I just talked about together, like the pronunciation, the context. If you find like a vlogger, they're going through their life and they're showing you like everything that they're doing in like that language, then you'll also be able to describe what you're doing in your life in that language. So if you find a Spanish vlogger, again, Spanish, if you're wondering, you find a Spanish vlogger and they're vlogging their life, and then eventually you'll be able to be speaking about your, like, saying things in Spanish about your life. So overall, it's just super beneficial to find people that you like their personality and want to continue following and understand what they're saying. There are so many different, YouTube and like Instagram are probably one of the biggest platforms. Also TikTok. You know how many TikToks are in Spanish now? Like, I find so many. So you can basically find any type of social media person in a different language, and it's not that difficult now in this generation. You can literally find anyone. So I would highly recommend following people on social media that you like their vibe and stuff, and also you like their content to help you learn your language better. So my second to last one is use free apps. I think this one's probably the one that everyone recommends, like using Duolingo. I think they have a lot of different types of languages that you can use, but overall it just puts everything together. You listen, you write, you do all of these things in one place, and you get rewards for it. And I think overall it's just super helpful. There's like Duolingo, there's Babbel, there's a bunch. Literally just look up language helping, things like that. I think the top two that I've heard are Duolingo and Babbel, but obviously figure out what works for you. Personally, I've only used Duolingo, so if you ever want to figure out what you want to use. But it's super helpful because it just puts everything together in one space, and then you're just learning that new language. My last and final tip for you guys is to journal. Now, obviously, you're using this to write out everything, but if you're writing about your day, again, context, you'll be able to put it in context. But one thing that I think would be super helpful is if you're writing and you get stumped on a word that you don't know, I would circle it, look it up, and that way you know that you need to study that word. So then it'll be embedded in your brain that you don't know that word. So you're not just studying words that you already know, but you're also studying words that you don't know. You're re-evaluating or revising, reviewing things that you are unsure about. So I think it would be really helpful if you're journaling, you're like, oh, today I did this and I ate this, and let's say you forgot to write, you don't know how to say like you ate something, you know what I mean? So that would be I think more beneficial than if you were just to journal about your life. Circle the word that you don't know and go back and look it up, and that way you will be able to figure out what that word is, and it will be stuck in your brain, and you will have more vocabulary for when you actually use the word. So those are my 7 most effective tips to learning a language, aside from flashcards, speaking, and testing yourself and taking notes. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I love you guys so much, and stay tuned until next Sunday's video, because I promise you guys it will be an amazing one. Bye guys.